Hey everyone, we are back again with another video detailing our circumnavigation of Vancouver Island aboard our 37-foot sailboat Maya. So at this point in the story, we've gone about 500 miles over 24 days since we shoved off from Anacortes, Washington, having traveled up Canada's Inside Passage. Picking back up the story, we find ourselves in Port McNeil, British Columbia, a town of about 2,000 people. It's also the last town that we'll see for about a month as we travel down Vancouver Island's rugged west coast. In light of that fact, we pulled into the marina at Port McNeil and set to knocking out the to-do list. Disco was especially happy to be at the dock.
Okay.
So we're back in Port McNeil.
We're running some errands. We're about to go to the grocery store and then to the laundromat.
Shopping cart for the win. In addition to laundry, we also had to do some engine maintenance. Okay, so we are here in Port McNeil, and today we are changing the oil on our Beta Marine 30 horsepower diesel engine. So Beta engines are really nice because this pump goes straight down into the oil sump. First thing we're going to do is take off this cap. We flip that to open, and then all we do is start pumping. Okay, that's going to be... We've gotten it all out of there. So that's cool. So at that point you can close that, put the cap back on. Port McNeil is a great place to get engine maintenance done because they accept waste oil. So all you have to do is take your waste oil up to the head of the dock and they take it from there. They properly dispose of it. Now we want to get rid of the old oil filter. So the engines, they're constantly filtering the oil that's being pumped through. Just to take any like particulates, like little pieces of metal, stuff like that. So it's important that that gets taken out before you put it in the oil. And I've got baby diapers here, which are helpful for collecting stuff. And with the oil out and the old oil filter out, now you can go ahead and put the new one on. It's good practice to, so these usually come with like a little O-ring like this. So I'm just going to cover this in the new oil. Just lubing this up with oil. That ensures a good seal. Screws right back on. So now it's just a matter of putting in the correct oil. This time. There you go. So that was a really busy day getting all that work done, but we did manage to get out and explore town a little bit.
I've never seen anything like that. It's pretty cool.
The next thing we wanted to do while we had internet was check in with a meteorologist to get a sense for the long-term weather patterns, and this is what we found.
The next 24 hours, well, this is where the Jaws music comes in. A much more potent system is moving in north of us. You can see the blue here. This is roughly a third to 2/3 of an inch over the 24 hours. The next 24 hours, wow, more rain. It's pretty heavy. The next 24 hours, it's a little bit of a gap, but the next 24 hours brings another system with more rain. So this is extremely unusual. So we are in a pattern that will not bring us warmth. This is not the typical July situation.
So because of this storm that was coming in, we either had to get around Cape Scott before the storm hit or wait a week and let the storm pass. That would involve us being in Bull Harbor for potentially 3 or 4 days, and the residents there don't really want you on their land. That's what we heard. So that really did not sound too appealing. We ultimately decided to round the Cape before the storm hit. So the following morning, with the boat full of water, diesel, clean clothes, and fresh food, we set out on the northern ebb tide to what would be the most challenging 2 days of boating in our young careers.
4:30 in the morning. It's our earliest departure yet.
It's really early. We're traveling north from Port McNeil, and we've got our first real bout with fog. It's probably our least favorite thing to be traveling in. It's kind of tricky to travel in.
Apparently we're headed off the edge of the map. I guess this area up ahead is not plotted at all, or we just don't have the charts for it. We do not have the charts on our chart plotter for the west coast of Vancouver Island, so we are sending a cell phone up the mast to try to get the maps downloaded on Navionics, so we at least have the charts on our phone. Mac has it on his, and then I'm just trying to make sure I have it on mine. So that's what we're doing today.
So in order to get those maps, we actually had to backtrack 7 miles. And just after we downloaded those maps, we started hearing a new noise coming from below deck. Even though that was a cause for concern, we decided to press on. And because the backtracking put us behind schedule, we were then hit with a tidal current head on. And we are battling the tide current. Oh, brutal. 2.5 knots. We got like 6 miles to go. But what would normally take an hour is going to take us like 2.5.
Finally pulling into Bull Harbor after 10 hours. It was quite the slog up here, but we have finally arrived. Mac, what are you feeling now?
I'm tired. Yeah, 4 a.m. Had to backtrack a bit. Our like propeller shaft is making noise. Like I just want to drop the hook and be here. So
Finally. Disco's exhausted too.
Initial theory is that it's our propeller shaft. It's like it spins freely, but it's not spinning as easy all the way through. It's like it's easy to spin right now, but then it kind of sticks like right here. I think it may be a little warped or something. So after some fiddling, we decided to just leave everything as is. We didn't really want to do anything too dramatic, and we would keep a close eye on it through the rest of the trip. With Maya tied to the lone floating dock in Bull Harbor, we decided to sit down and capture our thoughts.
So.
So now we are at Bull Harbor, which is like the last jumping off point before we go around Cape Scott.
Yeah, so we're gonna be, this is our first taste of getting some offshore cruising time.
Yeah, it's gonna happen tomorrow. Pretty big step for us.
Yeah. We've always been cruising in like protected waters. So now like it's the big wide ocean. Well, and the wind's gonna pick up a ton. There's like a huge storm system moving in. It's gonna bring tons of rain. So there's a few other people here in this anchorage and they're doing the same thing.
That's a 150-foot yacht right there.
So the weather looks good for tomorrow morning. So we've got this little window that we're gonna sneak down the coast. Yeah, I'm very nervous and excited all at the same time. I think just
that. Oh, that tree's going.
Oh my god! Whoa! Okay, so a tree just fell into the... So that was
Thank you. Get back on the boat.
Disco.
Wow, okay, that explains
Whoa.
the crack. Thank you.
Okay, so that's how wild and rugged it'll be. Just trees just falling. Who knows what's gonna happen, I guess.
Thank you.
This is our security dog, Disco. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. We got that.
Okay, yeah, so with that, we'll call it there, so. All right. Well, we're off. It's around Cape Scott.
And we're out on the Pacific Ocean.
See how that goes. There it is, Cape Scott, northern end of Vancouver Island. Woo! Well, it's all south from here. Still got some challenges ahead of us. It's just us and a fishing boat out here. Vancouver Island. Woo! We made it! Yay! Feels really great, and feel very fortunate to have gotten like a nice weather window.
Made it around Cape Scott just fine, and now we're headed down to Winter Harbor to wait out some weather. Big achievement.
It was at this point the wind started to pick up. Alright, well, it's day one on the west side.
There's big waves out here.
Big waves.
We're almost to the anchorage though. 7 more miles.
Yeah, we've got about an hour left. And it can't come soon enough.
You're ready.
Yeah, We've been going since 4 a.m. Yeah, it's been quite the introduction to. Oh, I can't see me. Quite the introduction to the west side so far. Part of this was our doing because we wanted to scoot around the Cape before a storm came in, so it's just the start of it. We should be safely in Winter Harbor. In about an hour. But wow, I'm sure you can see, like, we are rocking out here.
Man, they're big waves.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Let's see if I can get a shot of forward here. After about 12 hours on the water, we pulled into our anchorage at North Harbor and dropped the hook.
What do you think about that, what we just did?
Thursday, wind northwest 10 to 20 knots.
That was pretty intense, you know. I mean, what do I think about that? Oh.
How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, that was a kind of a tough day.
We rounded
Cape Scott, and then all of a sudden we were in a gale. The aftermath.
I was a little scared there, actually, for when it first started, because I wasn't sure if it was just going to keep building and just all of a sudden the seas were going to be huge and swallow us up, but it was manageable. So, and it was actually kind of fun.
For like 15 minutes.
And then I was like, okay, now I'm over.
And then like 6 hours later, it's like, oh, this is not as much fun as it was the first 15 minutes.
It was exhausting.
Yeah, disco.
She did the best. She's a champ.
You're a little champion. What do you have to say? What do you think about today? Yeah, that's pretty accurate. With us safely at anchor and Cape Scott behind us, we kicked back and relaxed and let the storm pass and started planning the next phase of our adventure. That's going to do it for this episode. Please join us next time as we encounter our next hurdle, which is Brooks Peninsula. And we also crank up our fishing efforts. And you're going to want to see that, trust me.
What'd you get?
Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Oh! Okay.